He has the confidence to pull it off. Morton calls good game. Unbelievable. Sergio Ramos wins! First ever CRL World Champion! Team Liquid is going to be your champion! Mugi 2021! He's done it! Mohamed Light, World Champion! It's the moment we rise. Come together tonight. Let a flame and we keep it burning strong. We are the best of the best. We will not back down or rest. Till we drink from the Clash Royale League starts now! The highs and lows of Clash Royale are as legendary as the princess. You win, you feel great, you lose, you get this close to breaking your phone, and we have a few players here today who have that in front of them. 2 spots to World Finals up for grabs, but a few people who their entire season hangs in the balance, and they might go home today with nothing to show for it, but a lot of games of Clash Royale played, and hopefully some good times. Hello and welcome, I'm Rich Slayton, joined by Jackson Juicy J. Wall and Joshua A.C. Sharon to bring you the very last day of our Clash Royale League 2023 regular season. We have 6 players left, 2 will go to Worlds, and Juicy J, we have a juicy show for everybody today.
Absolutely. There's a lot of scenarios, a lot of different ways for these players to make it to the World Finals, and there's a lot on the line. Like you said, Inthrill, one of those players that doesn't have a chance to make it through points, so he's got to get that golden ticket.
But he's, of course, in a very good spot in our upper bracket final. More on that later. Josh, I ask you about this every single year. You've been in this position. The stress for these players right now, how high is that anxiety level?
I mean, even just commentating it, the stress is so high. There's so many different things that could occur. And basically, if you're one of these players, when you can qualify off points, there's more stress because, look, I only need to do this good is the thought process that's going through your head. But that can't really be it. You've got to win each set. There's so many other things that you have to do. And for players like Inthrill, where he doesn't have that opportunity, I mean, he's got to be feeling sick right now. Yesterday, he did everything he could. He got matchups on matchups and he played well. But right now, there's so much going through every single competitor's head. And man, just like me, I bet they can't wait to start.
Well, let's go ahead and kick things off here in a minute. Juicy, we're playing duel mode, right?
Yes, sir. Dual mode. It's a best of 3. You get a pre-select 4 decks, but no cards can be repeated. If you play a fireball in game 1, you cannot use that for the rest of the best of 3. Let's head into the prizing here. This is what these players are playing for today. We have a $16,000 grand prize, but honestly, these players care more about getting that golden ticket and qualifying for the $1 million prize pool in the grand finals. Josh, talk to me about this bracket and who's gonna make it to the finals. Like, this is what we got.
Yeah, this bracket has gone crazy so far. So let's go quick. Mo 2-0-2-0. Nothing to say really, except his first game, he was untouched on his towers. Inthrill has been so impressive overall from yesterday. He went 2-1 against Wallace, 2-0 against Vitor. How did he do it? Capitalizing on opponents' mistakes, as well as solid gameplay and solid decks. Vitor, really, besides his blunder in the final game against Inthrill with the Graveyard Freeze going against the Mother Witch deck, he has played a solid first day. He does need to make sure that he doesn't make huge errors like that one, though. Codigo, I mean, he's the veteran, so if there's anybody who could bounce back from yesterday's performance, it's him. But he hasn't impressed too much. His only victory was against Black Pearl, but he's the veteran. He can come back from that. And Ian and Wallace, I'm going to group these two together because there is so much on the line. Ian, again, needs to finish top 2 in order to make Worlds. Wallace needs to win 1 set to guarantee Worlds. So much on the line for these guys, Rich.
That's right, and keep in mind that while you see here 2 players who are going to Worlds already in Mohamed Light and Vitor, and we know there are 2 places available, these 4 players, Inthrill, Codigo, Ian, and Wallace, they might only get one of them as we look at our leaderboard because we still have 1 player not here this weekend who's currently in World Finals. Air Surfer in 7th place. Top 7 places on points go ahead, and right now he's sitting back and waiting. If Wallace wins this match against Ian, Wallace goes through and Air Surfer is knocked down into 8th place, no longer in World Finals contention. Of course, Ian, who's on our second page, has even more of a route he has to go for. He has to make it to the top 2 to the grand final to get enough points to surpass Air Surfer. Of course, keep this in mind, folks, that if Ian, Wallace, or Vitor wins a golden ticket, they will take themselves out of that leaderboard and bump Air Surfer right back into Worlds. So there's a ton of stuff going on. There's a whole lot on the line, and not just whether you go to Worlds or not, but also the World Finals seeding. That's right, folks, a first look at our bracket. Some of these matchups are locked in, but you see the asterisks. Those are not finalized positions. Air Surfer may or may not be in our World Finals, but currently he's slated to face against Mohamed Light. Vitor at the moment is facing Mugi, but if he makes it to top 3 this weekend, he will bump up 1 rank and swap with Sosa, so he faces Arden Toas. Not to mention, a golden ticket win from Vitor would move Ruben around, would move Adriel around, and of course our golden ticket winner will go against, oh yes, something new here, folks, in match number 6, you can see it, and of course in match number 2, our qualifiers from China were decided very early this morning. Higher facing Faust in the first round, and the winner of our golden ticket going against the 2nd seed from China, Not Afraid. So what happens today isn't just about World Finals qualification, but it's also about who you face in that all-important opening match when you take the stage for that World Championship. Fellas, this is the kind of day that we all are waiting for, right? We love to see so much on the line. Every single match has crazy impacts, has crazy ripple effects through and through. And Josh, I'm going to start with you here. I know that you and Air Surfer are very good friends. I know he's got to be watching here very, very closely. And that match between Ian and Wallace carries so much weight for him.
Yeah, we played Rocket League together for 3 hours because he just couldn't handle being by himself. He needed the moral support of myself with him. And really, he is excited, but really it's just all nerves. He is so sick to his stomach. He wants everybody that I mean, he was so sad when Vitor lost. He was so happy when Mo won. He was so about Ian winning. There's every single game, there's just a new emotion coming out of him.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our caster predictions and see if that first round, and so far so good in the in your buddy's predictions here, we're all picking Vitor in this first match against Codigo. No big surprises there. Codigo certainly a live underdog here, but Vitor has been killing it as of late. Ian, the pick across the board from all of us over Wallace, and we did see Wallace struggle a bit with some macro choices. Ian certainly in the flow, and that would be a good win to keep Air Surfer in the mix if Ian does pull that out. And then, of course, in match 12, our upper bracket final, we have the upstart Inthrill against Mohamed Light. All 3 of us picking Mohamed, but keep in mind that Inthrill does have a life to give, so even if he does lose to Mohamed Light, he'll drop down into the lower bracket finals, have a shot to break some dreams and make some dreams of his own. Guys, we've talked about a lot of stuff, but now it's time to actually get into it. Let's take a look at our first matchup of the day, Codigo and Vitor. And again, 2 veterans of the game. Vitor now has qualified for his 4th World Finals appearance. Codigo on the other side has been in CRL ever since 2018. You don't get much more experience than that these days. Let's first, Juicy, talk about Vitor, a very special player, a very talented player, and a very well-liked guy in Clash Royale.
You know, he's one of the best. He's at the World Finals almost every year. He's so consistent. And he's already made to the World Finals this year, but he's looking to improve his spot for the placements. And he's also just looking to, you know, get a little bit more prize pool. And I mean, overall, I would say that he played decent yesterday, but we did see him make some big mistakes. He's going to have to turn it around if he wants to succeed here. to get those better placement spots for the World Finals.
And you did mention the increase in prize pool, of course. These players are not just playing to qualify for World Finals, Josh. They are also qualifying minimum for making CRL World Finals this year. 16th place, 13-16 makes $20,000, so a bit more on the line for a player like Codigo, who's been around for so long.
Yeah, hey, let's not forget the location of the World Finals. They're also playing to travel and enjoy themselves, and you deserve that after a tough road that you've battled. There is so much on the line for these guys. Codigo, I mean, he's really... From his games yesterday, there's a lot to love and there's a lot to be a little bit worried about. This is one of those plays that I really loved. I mean, throughout this battle, he just knew what he had to do in every situation, so we need to see that from him again today.
Well, we'll see if Codigo can keep it calm. The veteran here against, now at this point, you know, we used to talk about Vitor as a semi-pro player who finally got his pro shot. 4 years into his Clash Royale League career, his 4th World Finals, I think it's fair to call Vitor a pretty seasoned veteran at this stage as well. So 2 long-time, well-accomplished players going head-to-head. And of course, folks, this is the lower bracket of our double elimination weekend, meaning both these players, it's win or go home from here on out. Of course, going home for Vitor means going home and waiting until his trip to World Finals. He's already secured. But for Codigo, it's get the win now or your CRL World Finals dreams are over. Man, the stress level is high. Juicy, I know you picked Vitor in this one. Reasons behind that pick?
You know, Vitor, he did make a couple mistakes yesterday, but the pressure's off for him. As long as he's able to play well and have a good mindset, I think overall his skill level is going to be above Codigo in this situation. Nothing against Codigo, one of the best players in the world, but I have to pick Vitor on this one based on those facts.
All right, the game is getting reset here in just a moment, I think, folks, and we'll have that back up and working for you. And we're going to say goodbye to Juicy here in just one moment. Josh, you also picked Vitor over Codigo. And we did see a little bit of mistake from Vitor, but you're still confident in his overall level versus where the consistency is found, in your opinion, for Codigo.
Absolutely. Codigo, while he did some things correct, really his only win was against Black Pearl, and so it hasn't proven enough for me. Here we go. Vitor going against Codigo. Game 1, set 1. Let's get it started.
And no big surprises here out of Codigo going heavy. We saw him have so much success with Golem yesterday. That highlight you saw against 3M was huge. Vitor now going with, I'm guessing this is just the Goblin Giant beatdown deck. This is not the Goblin Giant Sparky deck.
Yeah, with the minions, you have to assume that it's not going to be the Sparky right here. And Codigo doing exactly what he needs to do, pumping up. The problem with that, I mean, these decks are so quick, and right here, here's his first push. Knight, Mini P.E.K.K.A, plus the Goblin Giant. How is he going to be able to stop this?
Does he NATO it all together? And he does, so cleans out all the support here. Goblin Giant, raged up, will still get some key damage early, but he's able to limit it to, wow, maybe a bit more than he'd hoped. Over 1,000 HP taken off that right-hand tower. Codigo will have the pumps going and the elixir advantage, but a lot given away.
Still beautiful defense, though. He now has a pump and a half. He's only down 2 elixir. Now he's only down about 1 elixir, and he has the Evo Knight in cycle. So that is the situation he was looking for, because now his defense is automatically going to be able to defend on that next push.
And he's just able to pump with impunity in this matchup, too. And that's another very important factor for Codigo here, that he's looking at this going, hey, you're gonna do that? Well, I'm just gonna throw down a ton of elixir and start to fly the opposite direction. Mini P.E.K.K.A does not get the shot on the left-hand side. More damage given on the right. And Vitor did a good job of splitting up this push here, Josh, as a lot less damage gets in the opposite direction than maybe Codigo would have hoped.
And right there with 11 seconds left, that is a massive interaction. For those who missed it, the Mother Witch was actually locked onto, I believe, the Lumberjack instead of the Skeleton Dragon. So the Skeleton Dragon, with its final breath, was able to take the Mother Witch out just in time. Right now, Vitor going opposite lane. He knows that he has to win right here, and that Fireball might allow him to do it.
Oh boy, that's gonna be it. Vitor takes game number 1. Codigo with the grimace cannot believe he let that one slip through his fingers.
And you have to assume, we take a look back to Muhammad Light's game from the other day, the Golem in the middle of the battlefield. That might have been the answer for that, because he goes Golem in the right, his opponent can go all in on the left, but had he done it in the middle, the mini P.E.K.K.A would have been kited. That might be something that players have to look at for the future.
And Hog out of Vitor, recognizing NATO being out here. Codigo playing some variation of minor wall breakers. We'll see if it is the classic Remy. Nope, going instead with the 6-man. Of course, he did use the Evo Knight last game, so this is an alternative that's fairly popular.
We've seen this deck have pretty decent success from day 1 of this monthly finals. It feels like it continues to get bad matchups, but then because of the Evo'd Royal Recruits, it's probably not even a bad matchup. They can probably just overwhelm pretty easily. And so I'm starting to change my mind on this deck, and I'm starting to really love Codigo's deck choice.
Hog into the right-hand side. Valk will get 1. Spears plus Bomb Tower should be enough to stop this Hog from getting a tower. And Josh, one thing we saw a lot yesterday, we're seeing it again here, is the return of the Valkyrie, which I have to assume is heavily driven by not just the Evo'd recruits in the mix, but you couple that with the Evo Barbs, and you're seeing both the Valk and the delivery getting more play.
Yeah, you have to be able to adjust to your opponent's gameplays, and right here, I mean, Vitor with an incredible adjustment with the delivery plus the Firecracker plus the Valk, all those cards are going to work well against Codigo's deck choices, and right here, this is just the deck he was looking to face when he's running all these cards together.
And delivery gets its job done. Valk does take care of the wall breakers. 1905, the mark on the right-hand side. Still Codigo fairly far ahead of Vitor. Has not given up much in the way of hog shots yet, courtesy of those well-timed bomb towers.
Yeah, beautiful awareness of the situation. Goes in with the offensive Earthquake with no bomb tower on the field. That way, his Valk and his Royal Delivery would be able to pressure at the bridge with the Ice Spirit in tow. That was great awareness from Vitor on his opponent's cycle.
Codigo now starting to show some cracks in the armor. Remember, it is Vitor up by 1. Codigo, a loss here would mean his World Finals dreams come to an end. 34 seconds left in regulation, and a Hog kite plus the offensive pressure. Bomb tower will come out, but the job done here against the evolved recruits.
Yeah, that was a clean play from Vitor. He's now going to be able to cycle to another Valk Hog if he chooses to do so. Instead, Codigo going in with the defensive poison. Going to just reset from both players, probably, especially now that he's used the Earthquake offensively.
Delivery well timed here, not falling for the trap with the goblins down. The log from Codigo, not quite enough. Vitor with the lead, 1789 to 1455 as we enter sudden death overtime.
I know it's crazy to think about, but sometimes the Hog on offense is also resetting. When you go the Hog, that's 4 elixir. Your opponent has to bomb tower, that's also 4 elixir. You can get yourself in correct situations just by cycling a Hog that you know won't be able to get any damage.
And Wallbreaker's trying to sneak on through, but the Valk gets pushed back enough to continue her assault. 1293 to 1731. Hog plus EQ plus Valk. Hog trying to sneak away. I think it will get one, just barely does. Plus some Evo Firecracker chip. Vitor is running away with this in the final 80 seconds.
Gets the tower down to 565. Not going to be... Is he going to choose to defend the left side? No, he's not. Okay, tower down to 1530. Log...
Boy.
How many shots is that? And he gets 1. Both towers down to about 1100 HP.
And now the big question of how much do you pressure versus how much do you defend? Poison log versus just the Earthquake.
Spear Goblin cycled in the middle to not allow the Firecracker to go in on the offensive. Double recruits on the board at this point. Can the Hog get the shot? It does not. Codigo with stellar defense right there.
Miner to the back, delivery high. Firecracker working on the right-hand side. Poison in on the Firecracker. That right-hand tower in a lot of trouble. 27 seconds left. Wall breaker pressure on the left-hand lane. Vitor needs to stop that pressure, but the Miner comes in. Delivery goes down. Miner chipping away 691 to 241, and Código shaking his head.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're a Vitor fan, but here we go. So, Wallbreaker's at the bridge, not going to be able to get there. Needs the delivery on the left lane. Is he going to be able to get it in time? He does.
And GG, well played. Vitor knocks out Código. A great run from the longtime veteran, not quite able to make it to the golden ticket. And it's Vitor taking one step closer now into our top 4. And man, big stuff for everybody. Again, if Vitor wins one more match, he jumps over Sosa and will face Arden Toas instead of Mugi in the first round. And of course, keep in mind, folks, if he wins the golden ticket, everyone's matchups pretty much get flipped around. More people make it to World Finals. It's pandemonium here if Vitor wins the golden ticket. And that's one big step in the right direction for him. Josh, we're down to 5, and that was a choice performance from Vitor.
Absolutely. And honestly, just choice performance just for the storylines, because so much more happens when Vitor wins. Now, technically, Air Surfer isn't going to be pretty much automatically out if Wallace wins. Ian still has that opportunity to get there in points if he finishes 3rd. I believe if Vitor wins, there is still so much on the line for all these players. Congrats to Código for finishing in the top 6, but as far as storyline goes, this is exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, it's certainly going to create a lot of interesting wrinkles throughout this weekend. But also Vitor here, the decision-making was really, really solid. You saw the great play with the Goblin Giant Rage play on the left-hand lane to steal the win in game number 1. And then just held on here. The pressure from Código was significant at the end, and Vitor able to hold strong and make his way into our final 4 for this weekend.
I mean, if you take a look at Código's gameplay himself, game 1, and we'll tell you, okay, so game 1, he plays an almost perfect game. He pumps up beautifully. He golems when he's supposed to. He gets the Knight Evo on defense for Vitor's offensive pushes, so that way he's not going to be able to break through. The only mistake, if he golems in the middle, I believe he would have won. It all comes down to Vitor recognizing that he has one last chance. Goblin Giant, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Rage, that's my only opportunity to win, and he was able to strike gold with it. Brilliant awareness from Vitor from game number 1.
Well, you know, you think about that play too, and one of Vitor's teammates and close friends, Mohamed Light, we saw him yesterday when the pressure came in on one side, just the Goblin Gang the opposite side, recognizing that you got to take damage where you can get damage. So Vitor playing like his friend and teammate, doing a great job there. Let's take a look at deck number 2, and this one, you know, it's interesting. You look at this Miner Wallbreakers deck. This is obviously not the full-on variation that has the Magic Archer in it, and there's a lot to like here. But Josh, you got to wonder how strong this deck is with the Royal Recruits. It still kind of feels like the Royal Recruits are almost like a gamble when you're playing them at this point.
Yeah, I have to say, I am not upset at the deck choice from Código. I actually think he played a very strong game. Against most other opponents, he's walking away with a victory in game number 2. The only problem was that Vitor was just on it today. Código was pressuring so well, going Miner, Bats, delaying the Spear Goblins, so that way the delivery wouldn't be able to hit both Spear Goblins. There was every little trick that he could pull off, he was pulling off. Vitor just played a phenomenal game.
Well, big win for Vitor. We're welcoming back Juicy J on screen. Juicy, Vitor, of course, he's already qualified for World Finals, but as we mentioned many times, the implications of him continuing to perform well are pretty significant. And it really does seem like at the right time in the year, he's beginning to play his best Clash Royale.
Yeah, I mean, he just pulled out all the stops. He played fantastically, especially in that game 1. The pressure in the opposite lane, just a mini pack in the back, forcing Código's Electro Dragon in the lane that he doesn't want it every single time. That was the biggest thing in that match. Código needs the Electro Dragon for those Goblin Giant pushes, but whenever Código went for it, Vitor's immediately in the ops lane. He goes. I mean, it was just perfect pressure and perfect defense all around. I was very, very impressed with the gameplay there.
Well, let's take a look at the weekend's bracket as Vitor started off his weekend taking down Sub, then a loss to Inthrill, who's in our upper bracket final. They might meet again, potentially, but right now with the win over Codigo, he awaits the victor of Ian and Wallace. So will he face the Hog Master in Ian77 or his former teammate in Wallace? There's only one thing we can do to find out. Let's let these two play. Let's take a look at the matchup between these two very talented, very popular players. And you know, Josh, when we look at Ian77, he's, of course, one of the best, if not the best, Hog player on the planet. Very, very popular content creator. His YouTube channel has blown up the last couple of years. And it does feel like this weekend is the best we've seen him play in the competitive scene.
That's right. I can only look at one mistake that he made so far this weekend, and really it comes down to it could have been a poor cycle. It could have been a million different things, and so that lava, and honestly, lava mirror matches are very difficult to play well. So really, you only have one mistake over 4, 5, 6 games total played. That's really good, and that's got to make you feel like you are the better opponent of these two.
And of course, as you can see here, he had the misfortune of facing Mohamed Light in our second round. But Ian, ready, able, and with tons of fans watching at home who are hoping, praying, and excited for the chance to see Ian make it all the way to World Finals. But standing in his way on the other side of things, a long time, similar to Vitor. They were teammates in semi-pros, they were teammates in CRL, and Juicy J. Wallace, yesterday, not his cleanest gameplay. What does he have to do today to get past Ian?
That's a great question. I think Wallace really needs to look for some good matchups. Ian did a great job of taking good deck picks yesterday, and he needs to do the same or better if he's going to be able to take Ian down here. Ian played fantastically. You know, Wallace can do that as well, though. I mean, in the predictions here, we all went for Ian, but this was the one that I just didn't know what to go for because both these players are fantastic. We're going to be hopping straight into the game. We're going to be saying goodbye to Rich. AC, walk me through the start of this game here. Ian77 with the Snowball, Wallace with the Heal Spear. What decks do you think we're looking at?
All right, so Ian, I'd like to see Quick Cycled. There we go, Earthquake cycled as well. Wallace, on the other hand, I mean, Heal Spirit, Bar Barrel, it's making me think Three Musketeers, but now I'm leaning towards Ram Rider, and there we go, Ram Rider placed on the map. I don't think the Hog will be stopped that way, even with the Knight placed down. Still able to get a shot. Ian with a great start right there. And there's no way, okay, I was hoping we were going to see it. I was hoping we were going to see some crazy King Tower activation. Ian's still warming up on the day, not going to be able to pull it off just yet.
I just want to quickly point out that graphic we saw on the bottom right there, a 50% win rate from Wallace. So, against Ian. So, I mean, this is the closest that things can be here. This is a 50-50 matchup. Whoever wins this game has a chance to qualify for World Finals. Whoever doesn't win this game, they're out, they're done. And Wallace, if he actually wins this game, he is guaranteed to make it as well. So there's a lot riding on the line here. A 50% matchup. You have Ram Rider versus Hoggy Q. Generally speaking, Ian knows this, he's a great Hoggy Q player, but you have to go opposite lane in this matchup from Hoggy Q, or else that Ram Rider will constantly be able to defend. Oh, a big mistake from Wallace. Not getting the King Tower activation. The Knight placed too low.
Yeah, massive mistake right there. Snowball to help out, but the Magic Archer is not going to be taken out fully. Going to need to play something else, and there we go. Firecracker able to lock onto the Magic Archer with its spray and a clean defense and a 1300 HP lead right now with another Hog on the board. This is incredible start for him, Ian, and I believe that he should have the Evo Firecracker next up in cycle.
Absolutely. And, you know, I said Ian has to go up the lane, but with this damage lead, I don't even think that is necessary. Evo Knight in the back from Wallace. He's going to be trying to make a push here. You have to watch out the Evo Firecracker. He predicts it with the Evil Spirits, and the Evo Firecracker is placed in the back. Fireball's going to come out to take that out, though.
Yeah, and right there, those Ice Spirits from Ian, they have a purpose. They are trying to get the Heal Spirits out of cycle. They're trying to get that 80 damage on the tower. Those... I mean, it's a simple, it looks very simple, but those Ice Spirits always have a purpose when placed at the bridge.
A Hog Rider getting another shot. These guards from Ian are such well played along with the Hog Riders to distract the Ram Rider's snare. Magic Archer at the bridge looking to get a nice lineup though. Using through this Valkyrie, getting some pretty solid damage. Firecracker trying to defend. Guards are going to come down as well. Wallace getting a bit of damage, but it doesn't matter. Here's another Hog Rider. Ice Spear, guards behind. Going to distract that Ram Rider snare. No, the Hog does not get the hit.
And right there, Inferno Tower does lock onto the Ram Rider, so he will have a clean defense right now. 2,000 HP to 800 HP, still a massive advantage from Ian, but Wall is climbing back into it. And again, it's a Magic Archer deck. There's always a chance for the Magic Archer deck to be able to pull out a victory.
Here's the Magic Archer to the bridge, but the Ice Spear was able to freeze, which allows the Firecracker Snowball to wipe everything out. In the seemingly last chance for Wallace to get some really good damage, it just goes away in a second with that one Elixir Ice Spear clutching up.
Great protection right there. How does he want to be able to defend this? Inferno Tower high. Now he has to worry about the Magic Archer placed at the bridge. We should see some guards come out to predict, but no, he's not going to do that. And both players aren't going to make the lineups right there. Almost a beautiful Magic Archer setup to be able to take out the Evo Firecracker.
And can we talk about these snowballs from Ian to push the Magic Archer to the opposite lane, making it completely just a non-factor in the damage on this left side tower. Perfect gameplay from Ian. Takes the tower out with the final Hog Rider. Wallace just giving up at the end there, realizing there's no way to come back. We're heading into game 2. Ian's best deck, the Hog EQ, is not going to be able to play anymore throughout the best of 3. Maybe Wallace can make a comeback based on that. We see double wall breakers to the bridge, a miner from Ian, and looks like we might have a mirror matchup, Josh. No, not a mirror matchup. Could be Magic Archer NATO versus the miner Poison here.
And that's right, it could be. We see the Spirit Goblins placed on defense, still looking exactly like what you're saying. Right there, Wallace jumping out to an early lead, all because, and this is just kind of waffling about, but I'm pretty sure he just didn't have the Spirit Goblins in cycle, and that gave Wallace the 500 HP lead on both towers. That is a great start for Wallace.
Wall breakers to the bridge. NATO gonna pull this back. He opts to not try to go for the King Tower activation. Spirit Goblins the back from Wallace. Here comes the wall breakers to the bridge on the right. He has the bomb tower ready for this defense though. Both players kind of, pressuring here and there on both sides, trying to get some sort of damage, some sort of forced out mistake from the opponent. Recruits in the back from Wallace. Spirit Goblins at the bridge with the miner, but the log's back in cycle.
So we're going to see these Royal Recruits Evo, Miner, Poison once again. Great Magic Archer lineup. That's going to be 3 shots, 4 shots, 4 shots right there. And the game is all the way back to even. But now we have 1 Royal Recruit on the tower, getting it really, really low. Ian with absolutely nothing for that Royal Recruit.
Yeah, the bomb tower just placed too late there. And now the bomb tower is going to be out of cycle as well, Josh. These evil recruits could come at the bridge very soon. As long as he can get a miner on top of a Magic Archer, that could be a huge breakthrough.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday, just going really aggressive with the Royal Recruits at the bridge. Not going to happen again. Instead, both players just kind of resetting. Ian will now have the bomb tower ready for those Royal Recruits. And here we go. We see him placed in the back as double elixir hits. Now the question is, does Ian try and pressure? And there we go. We do see the pressure from the Magic Archer.
Great prediction from Wallace to make sure that Magic Archer does not line up on the tower. Evo Recruit shields are off. They're going to be charging straight forward. Trying to take the bomb tower, trying to get the damage on the tower. Bomb tower is down. Some recruits on the left hand side going to be taken out mostly by the Evo Knight. And a reset for recruits the back from Wallace. A reminder for everyone at home, if Wallace wins this best of 3, he qualifies for the World Finals. He's already lost game 1. He needs to win this game. Magic Archer NATO, though, might be the thing to stop him from making that happen, though.
Wow, gets the tower all the way down to 1590, and it's going to force out a log in response. So much on the line, as Juicy was saying. Tower down to 1163 on the right. Wallace's lowest tower down to 1394. Ian has stormed back into this game.
Evo in the back. The biggest thing for Wallace is he cannot let another Magic Archer connection. If he needs to predict that constantly. There it is out of the bridge again. And Evo Knight to protect. Spear Goblins are trying to take it out with the log. Will take that out, but the tower is below 1000 HP. Miner on the right-hand side. Wallace has yet to use his poison this match. NATO's going to pull everything back. Wallbreaker connection on the left. Evo Recruit connection on the right. Poison comes down. He's one poison off. Ian needs the pressure now if he wants to win this.
Yeah, we see him just frustrated, just a little grimace on the face from Ian. He played it so well, but it just didn't matter. Wallace, with the intense pressure throughout the game, able to lock up game number 2, and there we go. Poison going to be able to finish it off 1-1. Wallace qualifying for Worlds. If he wins this set, Ian still has to finish top 2, but this is how he needs to start it. Here we go, game 3, everything on the line.
1 game to Ian, 1 game to Wallace. Back to 50% win rate this year from both of these players. I mean, this is it. Who's going to take the advantage with the win rate in this matchup? Who's going to have a chance to make it to World Finals? Ian, if he wins this, he has the chance. He needs to get top 2. He needs to make that grand final. But if Juan wins this game, he's gotten it. He's got to the World Finals. And looks like Wallace is actually going to his comfort here with the RG. I love that decision by him.
Yeah, Ian, he is going to be running log bait going against RG. So we're going to have to see how that will just... I mean, what's going to be happening with that? Arrows plus rage. This is not what Ian wants to see. And I mean, with the Rascal's variation of log bait, they usually don't have a big spell. That's going to be tough to stop against these RGs with the rage, with arrows.
Yeah, rage plus arrows and even the Mother Witch for all these bait units is going to be very difficult for Ian. Maybe. He has not used Fireball yet in this best of 3. Maybe, just maybe, Ian's got a Fireball. He's going to need that for sure if he wants to win this match.
I like the idea, but that is going to be so much pressure with the Mother Witch, and the interaction goes perfectly for it. Starts taking out all the goblins individually. Arrows coming down on offense. 2 elixir for Ian. Wallace might have locked this up just a minute and a half into the game. He might have locked his berth into World Finals already.
Ian calls a good game. He likes to do this where the game's not exactly over yet, just to try and get in his opponent's head and then make the comeback. But in this situation, I have to agree with him. Wallace has the arrows. Ian does not have a big spell for these zappies, for these Mother Witches. And we already saw how much value the Mother Witch can get if you do not have a counter to it.
And we're going to see the rage dropped once again. 3 shots from the Mother Witch, 3 pigs from the Mother Witch. And again, he just cannot stop this. 50 seconds left, tower not all the way down. And I mean, I guess we're not going to see it. I don't think we're going to see the RG get played one time. He doesn't really need to do that. We might see it if he hasn't taken the tower before overtime starts, though.
Recruits in the back from Ian. We might see the RG right now just finish off this tower. No, of course. Wallace is just going to set up for the defense and make sure that there's no chance of any sort of comeback. And the Skelly King, a final nail in the coffin here, getting the splash damage on the left-hand side versus the recruits.
And you just cannot stop the Mother Witch. He's going to have another Mother Witch in cycle as well whenever he wants to place it down on the board. 13 seconds left. Are we going to finally see the RG, or is he going to BM a little bit and throw another Mother Witch on the field?
Skelly King in the back, Tombstone down. He just needs one more rage or one more arrows. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wallace with the reverse sweep versus Ian 7-7, making it and qualifying for the World Finals. Let's go.
Wallace has done it. Everything on the line, reverse sweep. And Wallace, I mean, he struggled so much this year and last year. Almost made it last year, but problems occurred. He wasn't able to do it. We were so nervous for him. Would that happen again? Would he finish top 6 or top 8, but not top 4? That is no longer the question. Now it's just, what is the seeding going to be like? Is he going to be able to push himself up? Is he going to be able to golden ticket? Those are the questions we're asking now. Congratulations again to Wallace for making World Finals.
Wow, I mean, I can't help but smile after seeing his reaction. Someone who's usually just stone cold, emotionless, almost a look of disbelief there. I mean, fantastic. I'm honestly speechless watching this whole best of 3. We're looking at game 1 replay here. We saw that Evo Recruit connection clutch up the win for Wallace there. And then game 3, the Mother Witch. It was the MVP. Ian not bringing the Fireball in this log bait deck to deal with her, and it just got so much value. A beautiful snipe, a beautiful deck pick from Wallace and his team. Very well played as well, just clutching it up.
Yeah, Ian had to be so frustrated. I mean, with all that's going on, with all the congratulations to Wallace, unfortunately, that means somebody has to get knocked out. Ian, right there, I know he was talking with his coach or whoever is helping him with the decks. Look, I don't think they're going to be prepared for this. I don't have Log, I don't have Snowball, I don't have all these things. So we can get away with using bait game 3. Not the case. Wallace was prepared. Game 1, it was Ram Rider going against Hog. Hog took an early advantage and just never looked back. The constant pressure, plus the guards, Valk and Ice Spirit on defense, never allowed for Wallace to get past Ian's defense. And then he could never stop it either, even with the Lumberjack, even with the Evo Knight, the Ram Rider. It was always getting at least one shot because it was going Hog guards, Hog Ice Spirit, or Hog Snowball, and it was always a shot on tower.
Looking at game 2, the script was flipped a bit here. Wallace, very, very fantastically played. Even with the Bomb Tower, the Magic Archer, and the Log for these Evo recruits, he did a great job of cycling them through, pressuring with the dual lane pressure, and taking out those Magic Archers with his Miner. We didn't see the poison used actually until the very end of the match. We finish it off. The Miner and the spam and just that dueling pressure is what really allowed Wallace to take the victory here. Looking at game 3, we just watched it. You know, there's nothing else really to be said. Well, Ian just not having the big spell you need to deal with cards like Mother Witch, like Zappies. But Wallace also coming out, instead of a big spell, a double small spell. Rage and Arrows is exactly what you want versus a bait deck like this.
I mean, the play of the day has to go to whoever chose this deck for Wallace, because there's nothing better. Everything on the line, and you're going to get a 95-5 matchup. I mean, just the first Mother Witch that was placed on the board and the Rage on defense, everything was so clean. No chance for an error because of that deck. Rich, Wallace has now qualified for World Finals. Ian gets knocked out, but there's still a lot more to go.
There's a lot more to go, and you know, it's one of those ones where you really wanted to see both these guys make World Finals, right? Ian's such a talented player, has been so good, and it took him a lot of the season to get to a level where he really was capable of making World Finals. I think if we saw this Ian all year rather than just at the end, we probably have an Ian who's already qualified for World Finals on points. But that's not the story here. The story instead is Wallace get into that top 4, getting enough points to make it past Air Surfer, and we'll look at the points in just a moment. But as we look at the brackets now, we have our top 4. We have Vitor and Wallace coming up next in our lower bracket semifinals, and of course Mohamed Light versus Inthrill in the upper final. And there's so much going on here because once again we're in a situation where it's possible Mohamed Light will grant somebody else a golden ticket if he makes it to the grand finals, and then our lower finals would be the golden ticket match. And then we have Vitor and Wallace, who now have both qualified on points, but with Wallace currently knocking out Air Surfer from the top 7, the possibility of one of those two winning a golden ticket and bumping him back in. So this is a wild ride that we still have a lot more to be decided. Of course, we've talked about Vitor and how he might impact all of the matchups for World Finals. And here we go. Officially, Wallace passing Air Surfer in points in that top 7 spot. But if you're a fan of Air Surfer, or if you're Josh, or if you're Air Surfer at home, don't be too worried yet, because again, if Vitor or Wallace wins a golden ticket, they are taken out of the points leaderboard, and Air Surfer will be bumped back in to World Finals. So a big opportunity there. And one more time, a big congratulations to Wallace. You know, he's a guy that we kept a close eye on as he was a semi-pro before he made it into World Finals. He's one of the group of guys who used to win my weekly Wednesday tournament that I would host on my own YouTube channel. I sent this guy $100 a few times, right? So this is one of those guys who I've been watching for a long time. Had a tough last year, as you said, and very, very excited to see him in this position. And Juicy, you know, we saw Wallace play really, really well, but now we get into another matchup that, while it doesn't necessarily have the implications of who goes to World Finals, it could definitely impact the seeding as we go into World Finals, which is critical for both of these guys. I think we're going to get to predictions here in a moment. I'm pretty sure that all 3 of us picked Vitor in this one. How close is this matchup in your mind?
I mean, the matchup's fairly close. I had to go for Vitor here because, I mean, that last gameplay, it was just perfect from him. Wallace, he played really well, but in that first game, there was a few micro mistakes here and there. I think, Josh, you switched your pick to Wallace in the last second. Talk to me why about you had to go for him after watching that last best of 3.
That's right. I had to switch it. I mean, it really is a toss-up. It's 51-49. I just can't figure out who the 51 is. I'm going to go with Wallace just because, you know, all the pressure in the world, and you are able to qualify. You're able to hit that top 4. There's something about that where now the pressure's off. You're still focused. You're still dialed in. That says a lot. And you know, it's pretty much 50-50 whether you are a player or team and you qualify for the playoffs, and then it's like, oh, well, now I can dial it back. I don't have to try as hard. Wallace kind of strikes me as the guy who doesn't feel that way. He wants the more money. He wants to get that better seeding in the bracket because don't forget, if you finish 7th on points, you have to face Mo. So there is still a ton on the line for Wallace, and I believe that he's going to be able to recognize that and get this set victory.
And keep that in mind. You make a very good point there that Wallace has leapfrogged Air Surfer. He is currently just behind Ruben by, I believe, only 5 points.
Yep.
So a win here would take him from that 7th place spot up into that 6th place spot for the moment and get him out of that dreaded first round matchup against Mohamed Light. So you're absolutely right, Josh. That's a great point here. This matchup between these two players really impacts. Also remember that Vitor is trying, if he wins here, he goes from facing Mugi in the first round to facing Arden Toas in the first round. So there is a lot of your World Finals kind of path decided, or at least the difficulty of that path decided as we jump into this match. We're going to say goodbye to Josh, Juicy. This one, again, they're both into World Finals. They've both qualified. They both got that $20,000 guaranteed. But now it's really about, hey, how hard do I want that time in Helsinki to be?
How hard do I want that time in Helsinki to be, but also how much do I want that extra $16,000 that we were giving to the grand final prize for this month? Looks like we actually might have a mirror matchup to start this one off. I gotta say, I gotta give Wallace the advantage in this mirror matchup just because it is his most comfortable deck.
Definitely an experienced Royal Giant player, and very interesting. This has been one of the more popular Royal Giant decks. I've been talking with one of their former friends and sometime teammate Mini Minter a lot about this deck recently. And this is a deck where he holds a 100% win rate, and there are so many interesting things about how you play this deck. It's typically very defensive early on, but in the mirror match, Juicy, it looks like that concept changes.
Yeah, especially with the evolution. The evolution RG, the sooner you can get in the cycle, the better. But in this situation, I would have to disagree with that. I mean, what a beautiful defense from Wallace here. You might be right about the ultra defensive gameplay, because look at this counter push. And Vitor is so low on elixir. Does he have enough for his small spell? He's going to get enough right now. He drops the rage. But these Zappies are going to be wiping out this Skeleton King. And look at the elixir differential now. Whilst going in with the RG at the bridge, realizing that Skeleton King is going to die. And the Fisherman is all Vitor has for defense. This RG is going to get some very nice pop shots on the tower.
Wallace trying to play his way out of that first round match against the Pharaoh. So far, so good for him as we go into double elixir time. Major lead, lots of elixir, but again, the evolved Royal Giant so powerful, and as it pulls in to that tombstone, will pop it, but only gets the one shot here on that left-hand side.
This Mother Witch is very important for this game, and that's why this mistake is so huge here. Mother Witch can be absolutely taken out by the Fisherman. Eyeball drops on the Zappies, Barber on the defense. Skeleton King ability. This Skeleton King might be able to get some decent damage on the tower for Vitor.
And Mother Witch turning those ghost skeletons into some ghostly piggies. Here we go. Evolved Royal Giant opposite direction. Fireball to clear the Zappies. 1050 on the right-hand side. Does the Fisherman do its job? And a good defense by Vitor. So this has just been counter and then flood. Counter and then flood. And here we go with Vitor putting the pressure on.
Rage RG, Skeleton King ability. If that was an evil RG, this game would be over. But the Skeletons are going to clean up the rest of this. That Rage is kind of showing to be a very, very important factor in this mirror matchup. The Rage does a great job of allowing for a lot of extra damage with these RGs. Speaking of RG, here comes another one at the bridge.
Zappies and Fisherman both taken out by the Fireball. Raged up, evolved Royal Giant. Fishboy trying to pull to the opposite lane, doing its best to hold off that last Royal Giant shot. It does not get off, 702 to 691. We are razor thin with under 90 seconds left.
What a comeback from Vitor so far. Both towers at about 700 HP. Zappy's at the bridge. He's trying to keep this Mother Witch alive. Will the Fisherman pull? Yes, it will. The Barbell was not able to reach the Fisherman. Fisherman stays alive. I think this is game. Here comes the RG at the bridge. How can Wallace defend this? The Rage drops. The Fisherman is not locking on the RG. That's going to be tower down.
And Vitor takes game number 1. Juicy, he did such a great job of forcing the fight to take place in the lane he was winning. Despite Wallace getting the big shots early, Vitor said, no, we are playing on the left side, and got it done.
I'm just so impressed. Like you said earlier, Wallace with a 100% win rate versus RG. That is done now. Vitor taking Wallace in his own territory with his own deck, using Royal Giant, bringing the Rage, and that Rage honestly was the MVP of that match. It's so good about cleaning up skeletons, but also just getting that RG raged up. Increasing that fire rate is so important, especially with the evolution version, which allows for the extra knockback with that RG. It's just beautiful gameplay from Vitor there in game 1.
And minor wall breakers with the Royal Ghost for Wallace. So getting a little bit outside of maybe the normal meta. This might be the Mega Knight deck.
Yeah, I definitely think this is Mega Knight Prince from Wallace here. Going against Vitor's minor Magic Archer NATO deck, I would say that the Mega Knight probably has a decent matchup. A lot of the time, the Mega Knight is actually made, this Mega Knight deck is made to be good in CRL because it's good versus the Cycle decks. The Arrows are going to do a great job of cleaning up those wall breakers as well.
And a little bit of early damage here for Vitor as he gets a nice King Tower activation that will let one wall breaker connect.
Going to get some nice chip damage on this right-hand side as well. Vitor getting that King Tower activation is definitely going to be very important during this match. That King Tower activation is going to allow for a lot cheaper defenses, a lot more efficient defenses.
And Miner trying to tank for the bat, not going to get anything done here. And you see the King Tower getting involved there, so that's a half health Knight going in the opposite direction, forcing the response from the Royal Ghost. And you can see the win rate between these two very close. Obviously, these two players know each other very well, having been teammates for a long time, including their phenomenal run in the spring of 2020 for CRL West, where they qualified for World Finals together. And of course, the run of Wallace there was legendary, but Vitor was a critical part of that team.
Not the best bats from Wallace. You're going to be taking some chip damage here. And look at this defense setup from Vitor. Mega Knight is going to jump on the bomb tower. It's not exactly what he wanted, but the defense is going to be good nonetheless. And here comes the Spear Gobs the bridge. Vitor is playing this fantastically. I love the Prince, the backfield predicting the Miner, though. That Miner's going to be taken out. Let's see if he can get a Mega Knight down and counter push off of this.
And there you go, just as you called it. Mega Knight down, Magic Archer out of the picture, and now Mega Knight plus Prince plus Evolve Firecracker, Miner in deep, Evo Firecracker staying on the board, Wall Breakers pressure on the right-hand side. The Evolved Knight doing a huge bit of work to keep this defense from falling all the way apart, but it doesn't matter. The lead shifts 1560 to 1781 in favor of Wallace as we go to sudden death.
You talked about the Evolved Knight clutching up on the defense there, but Wallace's Evolved Firecracker really clutched up on the offense, getting so much chip damage here. This game is so close. Wallace needs to keep stacking Mega Knights and Princes in the back on this left-hand side because it's too late for Vitor to switch lanes. If you can keep stacking these up and apply pressure at the same time, that is his key to victory.
Great Miner there from Wallace to clear the Magic Archer off. Prince will get some pressure on the left-hand side. Wall Breakers are just going to go ahead and he's going to eat the Wall Breakers on that right-hand lane. And as we go into the final 90, the precarious lead for Wallace.
Prince going to do his best to kill the Miner, but the Spear Gobs are going to take this Firecracker out, and this Magic Archer could be lined up on the tower. Wallace is going to get the Mega Knight down to push that back. NATO defend the Ghost on the right, but here comes a massive counter push on the left. Is this game? Is Vitor going to be able to find a way to defend?
Miner goes to the Magic Archer one more time. That has been the primary target. Arrows do not get the Magic Archer as well. Splash damage not on the left-hand side. 57 seconds left. Triple elixir flowing. Vitor in a good spot.
I love that NATO plus log to kill that evil firecracker there. That is what Wallace needed to do to get some damage back. And now with the elixir back in Vitor's advantage, he's not going to have any problems defending. Wallbreaker's the right, almost connect, but the NATO plus log is going to clean that up. And this tower's down to 473 after this miner chip for Vitor here.
And you see Wallace doing his best to control the Magic Archers at the bridge. The Mega Knight play to the inside, trying to predict that Magic Archer on the Royal Ghost.
Miner plus arrows once again trying to kill this Magic Archer. This push is not over. NATO's going to do a great job in keeping the bomb tower alive. It's just beautiful. Log's going to kill the firecracker as well. This defense is picture perfect from Vitor right now.
And again, the Knight just not letting splash damage get on that left-hand tower. That has been the ticket for Vitor. And this should be enough. GG, well played. And Vitor just got maybe the most important win for him of this weekend, as he will now switch from the former world champion in Mugi to last year's rookie and a very dangerous, but not quite Mugi, Ardentois.
Yeah, that seeding change is insane. I mean, I want to talk about how Wallace now is forced to play against Muhammad Light in the World Finals here as well. That is a massive first matchup contender that he's going to have to go up against.
Well, for the moment, because keep in mind, Juicy, that we still have a golden ticket to give away. We're going to go to our Mohammed Inthro matchup pretty soon, but if Vitor can get that golden ticket, then he not only gets out of that pool, he'll bump Wallace up, he'll bump Air Surfer back into World Finals. So that's that. Wallace, for the moment, has to face Mohammed Light, but now he's sitting here praying that Vitor makes the full-on run. And this was just, again, a phenomenal performance by Vitor, who, like many of our players, is playing his best Clash Royale here at the end of the season.
Yeah, looking at the replays here, Wallace doing his best to keep that RG off the tower. Like you mentioned during this game, though, you know, Vitor did a great job of going the opposite lane and forcing the defense on the lane where he had the damage lead and making a beautiful comeback. Look in this game, too. You know, Vitor started that match with that King Tower activation, and then throughout, he just had really good centralized defense, making use of his towers, and the defense was just perfect throughout, and the chip was consistent with the miners and the Magic Archers and the NATOs and everything else.
Absolutely beautiful performance by Vitor all the way around, and Wallace certainly not happy with giving the L there, but his job's done for the day. He's qualified for World Finals. He's going to Helsinki, and now he sits back and hopes that Vitor can go all the way and get that golden ticket. And this first game, this mirror matchup, it was fascinating. How impactful do you think the Rage versus the Barb Barrel was in this mirror match?
Honestly, you know, they're very different cards. The Barb Barrel, it's really good for sniping out the Zappies or sniping out the Mother Witch to save your Fireball for other things. But that Rage in combination with the Evil RG is just devastating, because not only does the hit speed increase, but as the hit speed increases, so does the knockback radius, which helps, you know, knock back the Fishermen's, allowing for more damage, killing the Skeletons at a higher rate from the Tombstone. You know, Wallace, he tried his best, but that Rage is such a great job on the offensive from Vitor here.
Very nice work in game number one. On to our second game between these two, where not a mirror matchup, but still minor wall breakers both directions. And it felt like Wallace was doing a lot of things right. He was doing a great job of trying to control Magic Archers, but he kind of got there a little bit late, Juicy.
Yeah, a little bit late. I mean, there was one opportunity where Wallace could have connected with another Evil Firecracker, but he played it a little bit too low, allowing for a quick reaction time NATO plus log to kill that Evil Firecracker. Wallace needed to get that connection. The other big mistake that I remember in this match from Wallace, if you remember the missed arrows on that one Magic Archer, if it weren't for that missed arrows, I think he would have also had another opportunity for a connection for damage. This game could have been a lot closer if it weren't for those two very important mistakes.
And it doesn't matter either way. Wallace threw, of course, he would have elected a little extra cash, but the big one, the $20,000 for minimum making World Finals, and of course, going to World Finals. Josh, we saw a big win here from Vitor. Is this the best Vitor we've ever seen?
I think so. Juicy was killing me at the very end because I had 2 talking points and he mentioned both of them. So all I will say is that I was so impressed by Vitor. The quickness of his log plus NATO was brilliant. He was able to get it off the tower. And that was one of the more impressive sets that I've seen in a very, very long time, especially with all that's going on right now. This is exactly what he needed to do. Just a great accomplishment from Vitor. But, I mean, after watching that, I can't say that he's done. I think that he's going to go, I don't know if he's going to go the distance, but I think he might.
Well, let's take a look at the bracket because Vitor is now in our lower bracket finals, still in the hunt for the golden ticket. And of course, we've talked about the implications there, but he has to sit here and wait and see if it will be the Pharaoh Mohamed Light in the grand final, or if Inthrill can continue to put up big upset wins and drop Mohamed Light into that lower bracket final and secure himself a big-time spot in the grand final here. So really complex how these 3 will come together. Keep in mind, Inthrill already beat Wallace, already beat Vitor. So right now it's Vitor sitting back, and I'm not sure which one he wants more. Does he want to go ahead and... I think that you have to assume that he wants Mo to win and to face Inthrill one more time. But man, this is tight for all these guys. And speaking of which, let's talk about the matchup right in front of us. Inthrill making his first appearance at a monthly final. Probably the lowest seeded player, I believe, overall in our monthly final here, coming through, and now with a big opportunity, a win over Mohamed Light. That would be a signature victory for this guy here, Juicy.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about the seeding a lot right now, but, you know, Inthrill, he needs to get this golden ticket to qualify. And Wallace, you know, Mohamed Light, he's already qualified. And, I mean, if you're back home and if you're Air Surfer, you're really rooting for Mo Light in this situation. I think you do not want Inthrill to get this golden ticket. You are looking for Mo Light or for Vitor to get this first place.
Josh, Inthrill has some pretty has a growing and loud fan base on social media right now that is really pulling for him and claiming that he really might be the big spoiler of all this. So far, that's really been the story. What do you think he does here? How does he approach this matchup against Mo?
I mean, really, it's just going to be similar game plan to before. Can he get the matchups that he needs to get? If he does, he's got a shot. Out of his 5 games played, he had 4 good matchups and 1 matchup where he got hard countered, where it was Lava going against Executioner Drill Cycle. So if he can continue to get the matchups that he got in the other 4 matchups, he should have a good chance of winning. And again, if he wins this and then Mo is able to beat Vitor in the lower bracket, he wins the golden ticket overall. So he is going to go all out with his snipes. He's had a full day to prepare, and he is just ready for this action.
On the other side of things, the man who's been almost unbeatable, Mohamed Light. But keep in mind, folks, that while Mo has won a lot of monthly finals this year, and we're in familiar territory, we are coming off the month where he fell. Now, he fell twice to Samuel Basoto, 2022's third place World Finals placement player, and this was it was kind of a shocker. But as we talked about, Juicy, yesterday, it kind of feels like Mo's coming to the weekend with a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he played fantastic yesterday. You know, he's got nothing to lose, but he does want to prove that he can win another monthly finals. He's won, what is it, I think 3 or 4 monthly finals so far this year. He then lost the most recent one to Samuel Basoto. I think he wants to clutch up another extra $16,000 and prove, yeah, I'm the king of the monthly finals once again.
This is just par for the course for Mohamed Light. Another day in the office, whereas Inthrill, so much happening for him here. You got to wonder how the nerves are. I can't tell, Josh. Does he seem calm and stoic to you, or do you feel like this guy's buzzing with that extra adrenaline?
I don't want to say this for him, but I would have to assume that there's not a lot of calm about him. I would also assume that he's just so excited to be in this match just because he no longer has to wait. Either he gets it done or he doesn't.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. Inthrill and Mohamed Light. And such a huge moment for a player who's been around in competitive Clash Royale now for a few years, but has never played at this height, has never played quite at this level. He's faced a lot of these players, but he has never been. I think this might even be his on-camera debut.
Wow. And honestly, you have to take a look at, because yes, the win rate, which isn't something that we talk about all that often, is only at 59%, but he does have over 200 games played. So that is still telling that he's getting himself in situations where he can make it to the monthly finals, make it to the round of 32. He just hasn't been able to fully accomplish it. At this point, though, you've been saying it all day, you have to get to your peak as the World Finals occur, and he's probably just at his peak right now.
Made it to the round robin stage twice earlier this year. Once in our second season, came second in his group. You have to win your group, of course, to make it to the monthly final. Came fourth in his group in our season 4, and then finally won his group in the last opportunity. So yes, in the right mood, but right now is going to take some shots from this knight.
Wow.
Oh,
and
boy.
Huge damage coming down. Only one of the Spear Goblins stays, so that's going to get the tower down again, down to 353. Not going to get the final shot, and that final shot actually does matter. Mohamed Light only has the tornado, so he will have to break through eventually. But with the help of the Golem, the E-Drag, and the Nado, he should be able to take tower, but it is possible for Inthrill to still win this 1-0.
Setting up the evolved recruits in the back, and Mohamed has played his golems much higher than you're used to seeing many golem players. Almost kind of reminiscent of a guy you used to play with back in Clash Royale League. Talk to me about Mo's golem placement and play, because there's not a lot of players who play it like this.
That's right. You need it. A lot of players play it a lot slower, and really, you need to be placing golems as often as possible in certain matchups. This is going to be one of those matchups where your opponent is forced to poison on defense, lock on defense, bomb tower, spear goblins to the side. It's very difficult for Inthrill to get positive elixir advantages, and right there, this entire game, we saw it. He wasn't able to stop that defense. He tried going with the 4-2 split to apply pressure, but Mo Light's defense too strong, and 2-0 for Mo in game number 1.
That was an absolute beatdown, appropriate for the deck choice here. And now we go into game number 2. Nado out for Mohamed Light, Log and Poison out on the side of Inthrill. And let's see if Inthrill does go with something that Nado would be strong against. Hog might be in his mix. Mohamed Light, he's been kind of unpredictable here. Does he maybe go to the skies?
And Mo could be running the exact deck that Inthrill used against him. Inthrill smiling a little bit. Gonna probably lean towards Lava just because we see Barb's first play. But no, gonna go with a Magic Archer in tow. Still not exactly sure what he's running. We've seen a lot of Ram Rider, but I feel like that can't be the deck that he's using just yet. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
And Queen does pop with the ability, so it is a bridge spam variation here. Is this 3 Musketeers, Josh?
I would love to see that, but I just don't often see the Magic Archer paired with the 3 Musketeers. And usually with the 3M decks, you're trying to pump up a little bit more. But with the Bandit as well, could just be full bridge spam. We're going to have to wait for those last couple cards. Spear Goblins at the bridge from Mo Light, taking a slight advantage at this point.
And interesting to see Archer Queen on both sides. There was a time in this game where Archer Queen was everywhere. You couldn't walk around a corner without hearing, "But I'm the queen." And she's fallen off a little bit. But it's going to be very interesting to see who can use that 3-card cycle to get some of these key factors back in play.
Great Fire Spirit right there. Going to take the aggro from the Archer Queen, not allow it to get any value, and Bomb Tower on defense against those Evo Barbs. Full reset from both players even on Elixir as well. So now just going to have to wait and see. Slight advantage for Mo as we head into double Elixir.
Inthrill has really been on his grind this year as far as competitive play, not just really trying to push in CRL, but playing in the ESL Snapdragon Pro Series and the QLash competitions. And everything he can get his hands on, every opportunity, he's in there competing. Will that all be for fun, or will that be for a big payoff? Right now feeling the pressure against the world champion.
Good log to take out most of the bars pretty much all the way. We should see another bomb tower. And that heal spirit, you know, it's fine. It's just not going to really provide a lot of value. So I'm not sure. I kind of would have liked to see him just heal spirit low and maybe to the left, just to see if he can get a little bit of chip damage right there. Full reset from both players. But now here we go. Archer Queen plus the Evo'd Royal Recruits. Will it be able to do anything? It doesn't look like it. That is great defense from Inthril. And a shot from the Bandit. Very deserved right there.
Bomb tower trying to control here in the middle. Drill comes out defensively, does not pick up the Bandit, which I think might have been Mohamed Light's goal there to control that as well. And he takes a lot of damage for that effort. 1,300 HP on the left-hand side. Inthril making his case to go to game 3.
We haven't seen what the last card is going to be, and you'd have to assume it's going to be... I just don't know if it's going to be a big spell or a small spell, but it's got to be one of those two, and so we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that.
Bomb tower has been so important. You see Mohamed with the little control there with the fire spirit, just making sure those barbs go down. And you have such an interesting situation here, Josh, because really Mohamed Light needs to get some drill damage. But he has to find a spot when the Royal Ghost isn't in cycle, but the pressure of this deck is making it hard for him to put any offense down when the Royal Ghost is on the offensive side of the board.
That's right. Fire Spirit placed correctly, but the Archer Queen it is going to be able to lock onto the tower, gets it down to 1075. Only 800 HP separating the two, but with these Drill, Fireball, Quick Cycle, Archer Queen decks, you get a ton of damage in triple elixir. So now, here we go, just one push, and he's already tied up the game and already taken the lead as well, getting it down to 595.
What an amazing moment. You see Inthril kind of tipping his head there. Cannot believe how much got taken off that tower in that moment. Now the Evolved Recruits up high, and Mohamed Light running downhill with 35 seconds left.
And great Royal Recruits right there. Log plus the Royal Recruits are going to take out most of the barbs, if not all of them. So the Bandit's not even going to get value because the Archer Queen is going to be able to pop the ability once again. Log plus the Drill.
And that should be it. Fireball in. It will just take a log. GG, well played. Mohamed Light in a monthly grand final one more time. And Inthril has to take a big reset to play the biggest best of 3 of his career.
Oh my goodness. 2-0. I believe that's 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 from Mo in this monthly finals. You see the smile. He finally gets to showcase what he's made of, only finishing 2nd overall last monthly finals. He does not want to repeat it once again, and man, he looks unbeatable. It just does not look like anybody, regardless of the meta, can stand up to him.
I mean, I think that he came into this weekend a little frustrated from last month. He lost to a guy who's really one of the top 10 players on the planet in Samuel Basoto. But for Mohamed Light, he wanted to show everybody, guys, I lost. I came in 2nd place one time. Don't start calling me washed, you animals, on Twitter. And he came out just hardcore today and this entire weekend. And now sitting, waiting, and has created a 2nd place golden ticket match between Inthril and Vitor.
Oh, there's something about his Golem gameplay that just nobody is able to replicate besides him. I mean, it's gotta come down to how he utilizes the Golems at the bridge in the middle of the field. It's either he's using them defensively when other players aren't, or he's using them offensively when other players aren't, or it's a mixture of the two. There's something about it. I can't wait to analyze it deeper, or just ask him, what are you doing to make Golem this good?
Well, one of the things we've talked about with Mohamed Light in the past, and I think these 2 games exemplify that perfectly, is, we talk about great micro, great macro, all these things. Mohamed Light has a really amazing ability to understand when to put the pedal to the metal and when to take your foot off the gas. And we saw that in both of these games. The timing of when, hey, I need to sit back and play defense and bide my time, and when it's time to go for it, that timing affects all of those other aspects of the gameplay. We saw it here with this Golem deck, getting the pressure in at the right-hand time. And when we go into our second game, we saw the same thing as well. We saw him making a great decision on, hey, I'm falling behind, but here is when I finally go offensive with the drill, with the fireball, and that decision-making ended up carrying him through for the victory.
Yeah, and Inthrill's last card was the arrows, so I feel like there might have been potential to use it throughout the game, either on the Spear Goblins plus recruits, something along the lines. But Mo taking early damage, that's okay. He's just waiting for triple elixir, and as soon as triple elixir hit, I mean, it was just a switch that was flipped. He goes aggressive with the drill, fireball, Archer Queen, fire spirit, all just placed at the bridge. Let me get them down on the map. He can't stop me, and that's exactly what happened. A perfect set again from Mo. Okay, not perfect. He made one mistake, but yeah, that's still pretty close to perfect, and I think he can be happy with that.
Juicy, taking a look at what we just saw there between Mohamed Light and Inthrill. We're talking a lot about the patience of Mohamed Light. Was that really the key factor in these matchups here, or is there something else that you saw?
Honestly, the biggest thing I saw in that second match, Mo Light defense. As soon as the Ghost was out of cycle, that is when he went for the drill. The Ghost is the best counter to the drill in that situation. The only other option was Barbs. I'm not even sure if Barbs were in cycle, but even if they were, the pre-fireball was coming in hot to make sure that that drill got maximum damage. Mo Light is the best at punishing the smallest mistakes, and he realized that his opponent had the bad cycle, and he just went in and he got the damage that he needed to win the game.
And now Mohamed Light sits back and waits to see who he'll face in the grand final, because we have now come to our lower bracket final, and this is a golden ticket match. So let's talk about all the crazy implications here. If Inthrill wins this match against Vitor, he is into World Finals. Vitor's already qualified on points, but Inthrill would put himself into World Finals with a golden ticket with a win here. But if Vitor wins and Vitor gets the golden ticket, he takes himself out of the leaderboard. Sosa moves up to 3rd, Audriel to 4th, Ruben to 5th, Wallace moves to 6th, no longer having to face Mohamed Light in the first round, and Air Surfer will move back into World Finals, will move into that 7th place spot. So Vitor controls the fate of so many people in this competition, and of course, the winner of this golden ticket will go on to face one of our qualifiers from China in our final bracket for Worlds, so in our first round bracket for Worlds. So a lot going on here, so much hinges. There are tons of players sitting back watching this, just trying to figure out what the heck is going to happen to them when we go to Helsinki in November. And let's go take a look at our second to last predictions of the day. And I believe that we've all picked the same way this time. Vitor. So Juicy, I'm going to start with you here. Obviously, Vitor playing some of his best Clash Royale of the year right now. How far do you envision the gap between Vitor and Inthrill in this one?
Well, the gap isn't too big because we saw Inthrill actually beat Vitor yesterday, but Clash Royale is a game of momentum. Vitor, he's on that upward momentum. He's playing fantastic. Inthrill taking 0-2 versus the world champ, and there's a lot of pressure on the line from Inthrill as well. He needs to win this golden ticket to make the world finals, whereas Vitor, he's just playing to get some extra cash and some better seeding.
Huge opportunities for him, and of course that better seeding would be pretty significant. Josh, what does Inthrill do here? I mean, we just saw him try to go cycle and outplay against Mohamed Light. We've seen him have some success with a little bit heavier stuff earlier on. Do you go comfort here in this position, or do you go unpredictable and try to do what he's known for and get great matchups?
That's a tough question, because you know that Vitor, a lot of these players, it just comes down to, oh, maybe I don't have enough information. Vitor possibly could have said that at the beginning, and so he could have got himself into worse matchups that he can now fix up now that we're seeing this happen today instead of yesterday. So I think it's important for Inthrill to continue to change it up. As we say goodbye to Rich, Inthrill going in with the Earthquake. This is Juicy. I'm pretty sure you mentioned it yesterday. You don't want to use Pump. when Earthquake is available, right there, Earthquake, and you have the pump.
Absolutely. Vitor is not in a great spot here. Vitor using the Golem Evil Barbs variation that we've seen Muhammad Lai have some success with this weekend, except with Evil Barbs instead of Evil Knight. But that Earthquake really going to put a damper on Vitor's ability to make those big pushes. That pump, it gets positive elixir trades versus every spell in the game. No neutral elixir trades. And then the Earthquake, it's the only card that gets a positive elixir trade versus pump. So Vitor will probably not play another pump for the rest of this game.
Right there, Lumberjack plus the Skeleton Dragon's going to be able to clean it up entirely, and there we go. A little 8-for-7 trade. Not gonna be the greatest situation ever, but really that's okay for Vitor. He's trying to limit hog shots, limit Barb's pressure, limit everything, and just wait for double elixir. We're almost there. 2,700 HP to 2,100 HP. Slight lead for Inthrill, but double elixir, triple elixir, that's where Golem tends to shine. We are almost there.
Barbs at the bridge, E-Drag on the defense. What I'm most interested in this matchup is what Inthrill has for his building. If he has Inferno Tower for the Golem, it's going to be that much harder for Vitor to break through. On the other hand, if he has the Inferno Tower, that Evil Barbs could get some good value here. You're going to have to see whether he's got the Bomb Tower or the Inferno. Here comes the Bomb Tower. So Vitor going to be leaning a little bit more on the Golem rather than the Evil Barbs for these breakthroughs.
And right there, Archer Queen just inside the range. And here's a big problem. The Skeleton Dragons might go in front. No Evo Barbs on the right side, just going to be regular Barbs. Will he NATO this all together? We see it, and a beautiful NATO. Going to pull the Hog back. Not going to be able to get a shot on tower, I believe. And there we go. Barbs on the right side. Tower down to 1386. He's going to have to look at that right side in the future now.
Yeah, that right side just got so much damage with the Golem distracting that Bomb Tower there. Spear Gobs are going to go through for some chip. Vitor elects to take that damage because he wants to end the game right now since he has those Evil Barbs in cycle and his opponent does not. Here comes the Skelly Drags, the Lumberjack, Evil Barbs on the right-hand side. Hogger trying to pressure. Barbs in the defense. Hogger cutting everything back. Barbo coming through. The NATO kills the Spear Gobs. Hog is not able to take the tower. Is this right side push going to be enough, or is the left side push going to take the tower?
It's going to be too much for him. Double Lumberjack, double Barbs on the right side. Which tower is going to go down first? It's going to be the left one. Vitor going up 1-0. Everything on the line. Vitor can push himself up with a golden ticket victory and bring Air Surfer back into World Finals contention. Inthrill needs to reverse sweep in order to make it to World Finals. What is he going to choose in game number 2? Hog Earthquake game 1 from Inthrill. Golem Pump from Vitor in game number 1. How are these players going to switch up their plans? We will see that shortly. Game just starting.
Here comes the Wall Breakers in the back. Goblins in the back from Vitor. The reason why these players will play the Wall Breakers in the back is because whatever their opponent responds with, they can respond to that to try and get damage. Great Inferno Tower, though, by Vitor. Going to clean up the Wall Breakers and get a King Tower activation.
Still not exactly sure which variation of Miner Inthrill is going to be using, but we did see him Grimace, so I would assume it's going to be the Mega Knight Prince, and that is exactly what we're going to see. The Mega Knight and the Prince are going to get locked up by this Inferno Tower, but it's certainly not game over, especially he doesn't have the Inferno Tower in cycle right now, so we're going to need to see some clean defense, and that's how you start it. Hog to Kite opposite lane. Mega Knight jumps onto absolutely nothing, so great defense right there. And he's just going to elect to take the damage. That way he can Goblins up against the Prince. I really like that game plan from him.
Just look at the amount of value this King Tower is getting here. That King Tower activation at the start of the game is so important for Vitor. The Hogrider Kite, you know, obviously the Hogrider is not damaging any of these units. It's just all three of the, or the two Princess Towers and the one King Tower there. That is really just debazzing everything down. That was beautiful gameplay using that centralized defense from Vitor.
Great timing right there. Hog going to be able to get 3 shots and not a 4th. Prince going to be able to come down the lane, takes out the Valk, takes out the Firecracker, and almost gets a shot on top of the Inferno Tower. Not going to be the case. Now, here's the thing. Up 3 Elixir. Will Inthrill try and get a little bit aggressive now that the Inferno Tower is out of cycle? Or now that it's double Elixir, basically, is he just going to reset? And that's what we see. Mega Knight placed in the back, double Elixir right now.
Double Elixir's coming in. Vitor's going to be trying to aggressively cycle back to that Inferno Tower for this defense. Goblins getting a little bit of chip on the right-hand side. That's over the river to try and predict that Inferno Tower, but Vitor has the snowball in his deck. Arrows' Miner is not able to kill the Firecracker. She boosts herself back, and now the Hogger to the right for the counter push.
And is he going to try and protect this Firecracker just a little bit more? Not going to be the case. Inferno Tower going to be placed over the middle. Needs to snowball the bats, I believe. No, just going to Ice Spirit. So hopefully he can take this out. It's basically... I mean, this is a lot coming down the lane. I don't believe it's going to the King Tower, and this is going to be very scary for him.
Wall breakers coming through. One of them will connect. Firecracker desperately on the defense, trying to defend this Prince. Pre-arrows for Goblins, but Vitor goes for the Valkyrie, predicting those pre-arrows. Very good play there. Evil Firecracker did get a little bit of chip on this right-hand side, but overall, Vitor is still in the damage lead. And throw resetting with a Mega Knight in the back to try to make another huge push.
Thrill doing everything he can. We should potentially see the Ghost over the middle. No, elects to go opposite lane with it. Now bats are going to come down. Snowball to protect it. And there we go. Valk finally able to protect the Inferno Tower, but not quite. The Mega Knight actually hits the Inferno Tower still, and the Mega Knight is still outside of the King Tower range. So a terrible situation for Vitor. What could have been great ends up being just okay now that the Inferno Tower takes out the Prince. Huge lead for Vitor right now, 1:30 left in OT.
Mega Knight in the back, Firecracker resetting. Thrill gonna get in arrows on that eventually. I love the dual lane pressure on the left, forcing out these Valkyries. Bats over there for once again, trying to kill the Inferno. Hogdekai back, snowball on the bats. Miner actually kills the Firecracker here, saving the arrows for the next one of these Firecrackers. Miner get chipped, but that Hogger hitting the right is detrimental. Vitor is getting a lot of damage from these Hogs throughout this match.
Right there, Valk just going to be placed on top, going to be able to clean up everything beautifully. And the question is, does he have the Evo Firecracker ready to go? There we go, we see it, but the bats to predict. Firecracker should be able to get a shot. This could be game right here. We just have to wait.
EQ just needs one more cycle.
It's going to be game.
Needs to take this tower right now.
It's going to be game.
Coming in. Vitor, massive celebration. Tower down. And he's basically guaranteed to get the golden ticket, as Mohamed Light is the only other player standing his way. Well played to Vitor. Congratulations on getting that golden ticket. The best seeding possible that he could have gotten here for this match, and also guaranteeing him a massive prize pool addition to his earnings this year.
We see the Ronaldo celebration from Vitor. He absolutely deserves to be able to do that. He just earned himself a golden ticket, moves himself into the World Finals, brings Air Surfer back into the World Finals. He was so nervous about it. He was like, oh, if I finish 8th with 400 points, what's going to happen? Do I still get to do anything with it? Not going to be the case anymore. Vitor with a beautiful 2-0 set victory against the man who knocked him into the lowers bracket as well. Huge props, huge congratulations to Vitor overall, and also just huge congratulations to Thrill. He did everything he could. He brought himself, he was in the winner's bracket from day one, and he just couldn't get it done. Too many great opponents standing in his way, but definitely congratulations to Thrill. And again, Vitor, I mean, he wins it. He doesn't have to do it. He just needed to make top 8. That's all he had to do. But he said job's not done just quite yet, and we saw it from today and yesterday. He gets it all. I love this celebration. he deserves it. He deserves it.
Well played to Vitor. Gets the golden tickets. Thrill, a similar situation to what we saw with Ian this month. I think if Thrill played like he did this month throughout the entire year, he could have qualified through the points or even gotten a golden ticket in a previous month. I can't wait to see what Thrill can do next year. Looking at game 1 here, we saw the Earthquake come out for the pump at the beginning of the game, but whereas the Earthquake does great versus the pump, it doesn't do anything versus these massive golem pushes. I mean, and the Evil Parbs really were kind of the make or break card here in this deck from Vitor. He played them so well in the opposite lane to apply that dual lane pressure.
And right there, I mean, yeah, game 1, just phenomenal. I love that he pumped, recognized that it wasn't supposed to happen. Game 2, let's take a look at that right there. There we go. It's all about, can he defend? Thrill did everything he could. Bats over the middle, Ghost over the middle, Ghost to the side, forced out the Valk. I mean, look, that was perfect gameplay from Thrill. Vitor is just on another level today. I mean, just otherworldly goblins late, so that way the Mega Knight could hit the tower, and then the goblins would be able to take out the Prince with the early King Tower activation. No panicking from Vitor, and that's something we see in these monthly finals all the time, especially with everything on the line. Just no panic whatsoever. A great set from Vitor once again. I mean, just putting on a clinic today. Oh, Rich, welcome back. We have our golden ticket winner, but I mean, I think Vitor can actually pull off the 0-2 or the reverse 2-set victories in a row against Mo.
He certainly can. It's very doable. It's very difficult to do, but we are going to see a great matchup between good friends who also are both playing some of their best Clash Royale right now today. And Vitor, man, the road in this weekend, the win against Sub, the loss to Inthrill, and then getting through Codigo, Wallace, and now the win, the revenge against Inthrill, a great run through the lower bracket, and now just a cherry on top going for the matchup against Mohamed Light. Some money on the line, but all the work done, right? Not only did he already come into the weekend qualified for World Finals, but getting past the point where he had to match up against Mugi in the first round, now winning the golden ticket, where he will be up against one of our China competitors in that first round of World Finals. Huge for him, but also let's keep in mind the impact that he has had on. We'll talk about the seeding overall for World Finals in a minute at the end of our show today. But another very important thing, congratulations to Air Surfer with Vitor coming back and winning the golden ticket. He took himself out of the leaderboard, and that bumps Air Surfer back into World Finals. So we now have all of our World Finalists. We have our 7 golden ticket winners. We have our 2 players from China. And now we have our 7 players from the leaderboard. Faust, Morton, Sosa, Adriel, Ruben, and congratulations to Wallace and Air Surfer for both officially becoming 2023 Clash Royale League World Finalists.
You know, we saw the celebration from Vitor there, but I wish we had a camera on Air Surfer at home and his celebration when Vitor won that match. He must have been so excited to get to the World Finals. Probably the happiest he's been about seeing someone else win a game of Clash Royale.
And a really stacked World Finals it is, but we still have a stacked monthly championship to figure out. Let's look at our predictions here for our grand final. And keep in mind, Mohamed Light still is in the upper bracket, so he only has to win 1 best of 3. Vitor has to win 2 best of 3s. And Josh, you're picking Vitor, the pride of Portugal, to come out and get it done against the Pharaoh.
I mean, it's a what have you done for me type of league, and Vitor 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 in his last 6 games, no losses whatsoever. Vitor, we saw the patented smile again, the celebration. He is rocking it right now, and this level of confidence from him is only rivaled by Mohamed Light, and at that point, it's a toss-up. I'm gonna go Vitor just because. Hey, we've seen a lot of great things from him recently, more recently than Mo, because he played the last game, and I'm going Vitor.
Well, we'll have to see how this one shakes out. Of course, they have both had phenomenal weekends, and we'll take a look for a moment here at some of the work Mohamed Light did this weekend. And Juicy, it's one of those things where it's become almost ridiculous how much we talk about Mohamed Light, but when you keep winning and winning and then winning and winning, it's hard not to. And we've seen greatness out of him for so long. Why does this almost feel like the best version we've seen of Mohamed Light?
You know, we saw Mohamed Light struggle slightly trying to acclimate to the Evo meta, but the reason why this kind of seems like it's the best version of him right now is because I feel like he's finally like embracing this Evo meta. He's got the Golem, he's using Goblin Giant Sparky, he's got Evo recruits with the cycle decks that he likes to use, and he's finally just gotten in a spot where he's just very confident with all of these different evolution cards, and he's actually abusing them at the highest level, punching every mistake that his opponent makes.
Well, that's what he's known to do, and doing it very well so far this weekend. On the other side of things, Vitor, who really had to fight his way up into our top 7 and said that wasn't enough, now has grabbed the golden ticket. And just like Mohamed Light, Vitor, who now is at his 4th World Finals, Josh, maybe the best Vitor I've ever seen.
I think you have to say that. Vitor, I mean, he would have qualified off points. He didn't need to because he qualified off the golden ticket. There's something about it. We see his stage. We saw his stage presence from last year, which was magnificent. And I mean, really, as soon as the stage hits, that's going to provide another level for him, because I think that his stage presence is going to be second to none. And yeah, things are on the up and up for a player that's made 4 World Finals in a row at this point. So you have to give all the props in the world to Vitor, and you got to assume he's at his peak. He's playing his best.
And these guys taking their time to get their decks all settled and ready. Of course, this is not doesn't have the same implications of World Finals. In fact, all of our positions are totally locked for Worlds at this point. But you do have 2 players who are playing for a big chunk of cash here. Of course, the Grand Championship for this weekend, $16,000, 10K secured for both with a second place finish. So this is a $6,000 best of 3 between 2 very, very talented competitors and very good friends. So let's talk deck selection here, because yes, the World Finals aren't on the line, but there is still some money. Josh, you've been known to get a little out there with your deck picks. Do you think these guys are going to go and try stuff out, try to flex, or do you think these guys are going hard in the paint on this one?
Well, it's always really interesting to talk about decks when you know there's going to be 2 sets if Vitor wins the first one. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot of repeated decks just from earlier throughout this tournament, because they're waiting to save those decks for the second set if necessary. I just really, both of these players are great at Golem. I want to see more Golem action. I don't care who hates it. I love it. And I'd like to see Golem used at least once by one of these guys.
And you got to imagine, I don't even know what's going through the head of Vitor right now. Let's go ahead and jump into it, though. The grand final, the last monthly championship, Mohamed Light and a blurry Vitor deciding $6,000.
Yeah, $6,000 for one best of 3. That's, it's a lot, but Mohamed Light, like you always say, it's just another day. It's another day in the books for Mo. He's been here before. Vitor, a lot of adrenaline probably pumping right now after winning that golden ticket, but he looks pretty calm at the moment. Calm and blurry, like you said. I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully, I mean, it looks like he's got a pretty good matchup to start this one off. He's going to have that Hunter and that Phoenix here. Very solid versus Lava. But as we saw previously yesterday, Mo Light's actually using the Fireball this time, though. The Fireball is going to help a lot versus the Hunters here.
And a lot of pressure early from Mohamed Light. We talked about this before. Knowing when to pressure and when to hold back has been one of his key abilities. Forces out the Fireball and gets some sizzle. Mohamed Light up a few hundred HP and about an elixir and a half as we pass the first minute 15.
Wow, here comes another balloon. Means at the bridge, Hunter is back in cycles. Snowball is going to stop this Hunter from getting the second shot. Means kill that, and a Phoenix is forced on defense. He is going to get the death damage from that, but more than anything, he's forcing out 2 air defenses. Going to get him in a good situation to go for another Lava Hound soon.
And getting in deep, but no damage at all. And so far, very nice stuff from Mohamed Light. And Vitor just looking for an opportunity to get on offense, but has had to play from the back foot the entire time.
I really like the pressure from Vitor there, that Fisherman at the bridge, forcing out some elixir, making it so that he's able to cycle back to his Hunter and Phoenix for this next upcoming Lava Hound. Interesting Monk in the opposite lane as well. Gonna get that 3-card cycle down. Inferno Drag, one of the best counters to Monk, though.
And here we go. Royal Giant pressure on the left-hand side. Monk goes into the ability, which will lock that Inferno Dragon with its focus there on the Monk for quite a while. And that Royal Giant going to get a ton of damage for Vitor on the left-hand lane.
E-Spirit to try and keep this Phoenix egg alive. He needs that for the defense versus this Evo Knight. Lava not Lava Loon, but the balloon at the bridge here, and the Chrono Drag locked on the left. This is a lot to deal with. Snowball slows down that Hunter, allowing the Chrono Drag to take the left side tower, and the balloon takes the right side tower as well. Moonlight with an absolute masterclass here with this lava matchup.
And it's one of those things about Mohamed Light where we've spent so long watching him dominate people with the cycle meta, with the control meta. And now here we are at the end of the year, the meta has shifted a bit, and Mohamed Light beating people left and right, playing slow beatdown decks with Golem, with Lava Loon. Just a totally different style of gameplay and still masterful performance.
Masterful performance indeed. Moonlight, like I said, he is completely acclimated to this Evo meta. He has the beatdown decks really in his repertoire now. Evo Barb is the back. It looks like we're going to be seeing some Bridge Spam versus Vitor with a potential Goblin Giant Sparky.
So we've seen people kind of shift towards just the Goblin Giant deck. Sparky coming out for Vitor here in this one, though. And that Bridge Spam, Zap to hold for a second. Mini P.E.K.K.A. does not prevent the connection. And you see Vitor not pleased about that one.
Love the Bandit here. Heal Spear was honestly unnecessary. Bandit, one of the best counters to the Sparky, because the invincibility while dashing does a great job of taking those Sparky shots. Vitor going Rage on defense versus this Bandit. He realizes his cycle is a little bit messed up. He needs to get that Sparky back in hand. He does have it here. I would not be surprised to see it versus the Ghost.
And dual lane pressure. Very aggressive from Mohamed Light here early. Barbs will do their job on the left-hand side. Sparky to evaporate that Ghost in the left-hand lane. And Mohamed Light now going to set up this defense. No, decides instead to continue pressuring opposite side.
Minion's going to drop down that. Will Moonlight get the arrows down? There are the arrows. Great Magic Archer plus Heal Spirit to defend the Sparky on the left. And here comes a Goblin Giant at the bridge from Vitor. I really don't like this play. Evo Barbs are in cycle, and this game might be over already, Rich.
Yeah, this is tough going for Vitor. You see him not really loving what he's seeing in that. And Mo just continues to go heavy on the pressure. The Evo Barbs on the right-hand side. No Elixir to stop the Battle Ram on the left-hand side. And Mohamed Light once more will be a monthly final champion. 5 of 7. And you can see this one again. It never gets old for him. Put him on the wall. Put him in a statue.
Wow.
He is him.
Yeah, he just played so well there. He did the same exact thing that Samuel Basoto did to him last month. He realized that Vitor went over aggressive. He went for the Evo Barbs in the defense. He had a nice counter push. At that point, the game was over. I mean, you can't help but smile looking at this man smile here. I mean, it's very, very impressive. 5 out of 7 wins in the monthly finals. One of them, he didn't win just because he didn't check in. This man is the true GOAT of Clash Royale.
Yeah, I mean, 5 out of 7 isn't just good. It's unprecedented. It's also almost wrong at this point. There's levels to this game, and there's a whole different level, and that level is Mohamed Light. Monthly champion once again. And keep in mind, like you said, 5 of 7 won. One of them he didn't participate in, and the other he got second place. So I think we're seeing something that's never been done, and more likely than not, will never be done again. Congratulations one more time, Mohamed Light. And congratulations, Vitor, of course, on a phenomenal run as well to get that golden ticket and join the illustrious company of people who get a golden ticket when Mohamed Light wins a monthly final.
We look at this matchup here with the lava. It looks decent on paper to have 2 air targeting cards. Light made use of the spells, though, so fantastically. That snowball and the fireball was so great to break through. He took 2 towers. In the second game, it wasn't 2 towers, it was 3 towers. Vitor not having enough elixir for these Evo Barbs in the Battle Ram. He gives up with a zap on the King. I mean, this is the second time we've seen a 3 crown in this monthly final, and both of them was from Mohamed Light making his opponent straight up give up.
And even Vitor having to pull out the applause. He just goes, hey, you know what? I know. I know what this is. This is brilliance. GG, well played. I'll see you at World Finals, but not in the first round. And here we go, taking a look at the first round matchup. And Juicy, this was a masterclass in Lava Loon.
It really was. I mean, the only way Vitor can really make something crazy happen here is with the Monk prediction ability to deflect a fireball or snowball to make sure that his hunter is able to really get a lot of value on defense and then counter push off of that. But that is a lot easier said than done. No light, not someone that's able to fall victim to a play like that.
And on to our second round, or our second game matchup, going Goblin Giant Sparky. And in this case, Juicy, he just could not keep up with the relentless pressure of this very fast bridge spam deck.
Yeah, very fast. The arrows so good versus the minions in a matchup like this as well. And it really just came down to Vitor's lack of understanding of the elixir, though. This is the second time this monthly final we saw Vitor actually lose a match because of over-aggression. Yesterday with the Hog Rider, today with the Goblin Giant, not realizing that Modlight had enough elixir for those Evo Bards on the defense.
This was a big one, but same as always, let's go ahead and bring him on. Once again, your monthly final champion, Mohamed Light. Mo, congratulations on getting back where you belong, which is in winning a monthly final. You know, we've been talking about this a lot this weekend. You came in second last month, and it felt like you came into this final month a little bit different, with a little bit more fire in your belly, a little more giddy up in your step. Is that accurate? Did you come in kind of looking to prove something this weekend?
Hello, Rich. Yes, I agree with what you said. Like having lost in the final last month, I was definitely a bit upset, and I felt like maybe I didn't play as well as I played before. So, like, it's good to lose once in a while to be able to, like, reevaluate yourself and see what went wrong, so you can improve and develop your playstyle and your decks and stuff like that. So this month I came in with the mindset that I have to prove myself again that I'm still capable of winning a monthly final, even though I still got second, which I was pretty happy with, but I'm always aiming for that #1 spot, and I came with a lot of motivation and determination for sure.
I mean, that's a very important lesson, learning from losing. I know a lot of people watching at home want to learn from you consistently. What did you do between last month and this month? You talk about changing mindset. Are there other things that you did to get yourself into the form that we saw this weekend?
Yes, actually, it was not only me who changed their tactics a little bit. It was also Shibos. He started giving me more out-of-the-box decks, I guess. Like some decks that people wouldn't expect me to play. Like before, I wouldn't play this many lavas and golems, for example. So I think that surprised a lot of people, and that worked really well for me. And from my side, I mean, I played the game way more. I practiced way more. I tried to adapt to the meta as soon as possible. I tried to motivate myself to play. To, as I said, try to prove myself again this month.
Yeah, it was definitely noticeable, the big shift in your deck style. We've seen you play lots of control, lots of cycle in the past, and as you mentioned, the golems, the lava, the beatdown stuff. There was one play I wanted to ask you about, and that was yesterday against Ian. You were behind in that golem matchup, and late game you played a golem at the bridge, and it felt like that was trying to bait an aggressive play with the magic archer at the bridge for damage. Was that the intention there, or was there some other thing you had in mind with that high golem play?
Well, that golem play, I had two things in mind. Since I played the baby dragon in the back, he could easily magic archer nado onto it. Especially if I play the golem down the middle, it's easy for the marcher to lock onto the tower and hit the baby dragon as well. So I played the golem like a bit to the middle, so that at least if he nado marchers, it can't hit my baby dragon. And that baby dragon actually won me the game with a sliver of HP. So saving that bit of HP probably won the game, won me the game there. And also, I knew if Ian would be a bit greedy with that Marcher Nado, I didn't think it was going to finish off the tower because the golem was really high up, and I didn't think the Nado radius would pull it that far so that the Marcher gets like 4 or 5 hits. So like I I could live, like, stay alive, and he would have spent 7 elixir, which I can take advantage of with my push.
A couple more questions for you, Mohammed. First question is, now we have our world finalists set. We have the 16 players, including our 2 players from China who've joined. I don't know how much you've looked at the full field for this one, but of all the other 15 players who are out there, who do you view as the biggest challenge, as the biggest threat to you at World Finals this year?
I think, personally, I think Pedro could be a good competitor to me. I feel like his playstyle is pretty similar to me. He does a lot of plays that I like, that I would make as well. And he has improved a lot this year than last year. And I really like his playstyle. I think he could be like pretty dangerous to me, I guess.
Well, few better endorsements for a player than being the one that Mohammed Light is most concerned about. Last question for you, Mohammed. We now have a pretty big gap. It's the middle of September. World Finals is in November, at the end of the month, November 24th to 26th in Helsinki. What's your game plan now to prepare for that? Are you going to take a few weeks to relax and focus on yourself and school, or is it start grinding now to get ready for Worlds?
I think right now, what's in my mind is that maybe I take like a couple of days break, and then start practicing with Jibu's normal duels, because the World Finals format will be normal duels, not in game. So probably will practice that. But for now, I'm gonna take a small break to refresh myself, get myself ready for the next couple of weeks to get ready for World Finals and be in form.
Well, congratulations one more time on an unbelievable regular season, and good luck defending that world title later this year in Helsinki, Finland. And now, as we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Mohammed Light and bring on a second interview today, the golden ticket winner who we just saw in the finals, and that's still Mohammed Light. Don't worry, we'll find the other person here in just one moment. You know what, Mo, maybe you could answer some questions on behalf of Vitor as we're getting him ready here. And we'll take one last moment here for you as we're getting Vitor ready. Well, I guess we're going to say goodbye to Mohammed Light as we're getting our other interview ready for a moment. Josh, you've done the break between the CRO regular season and monthly finals, or in World Finals. Did you kind of do the same thing, take a few days off and get right to it? Did you take a longer break? Or did you just put your phone down and not pick it up again until you were in Japan?
No, my coach was pretty mean throughout the years. Trainer Luis, one of the greatest coaches to ever be a coach in Clash Royale. As soon as the offseason hit, we were given one day, and then it's, hey, 9 a.m., I'm receiving a call. Yo, I want you to practice against this guy. I want you guys to train this guy. I want you guys to do that. I was never given a break once throughout the couple of years that I played CRL, and I don't regret it. He always set us up for success. I think that's absolutely necessary. You're going for the World Finals. You want to win $200,000, $300,000. You have to apply yourself. You have to put in the work, and I think that's necessary. Give yourself a few days. Give yourself a week. Give yourself 2 weeks. That's fine. But as soon as that hits, boom, you got to go right back into it, 8 hours a day, every single day.
The grind's certainly important, and we saw how the grind paid off with the work done this weekend. I believe we're taking a look at the bracket one more time here. And yes, the run for Vitor, taking the big win in round number 1, a little stumble there in the upper bracket semifinals, and then, of course, recovering against Cody Go and Wallace, and then the big golden ticket win against Inthril. Juicy, you know, we're going to be beginning to look at our World Finals bracket here in a moment with our 16 players, not just solidified, but their positions and matchups solidified as well. And we'll take a look at that in depth soon. But with Mohammed Light, the question was, will Evos finally be the thing that nerfs him? Definitely saw the results of that this month with kind of a change in not just the preparation, but also moving towards this heavy beatdown play. 2 questions for you, Juicy. Is there any kind of meta that is bad for Mohammed Light? And now that we're moving into regular duels rather than in-game, where they can change decks game by game and prepare and react, where do you put the percentage chance on Mohammed Light defending his world title?
The percentage chance for Mohammed Light to defend his world title, honestly, after seeing today, I would say at least 85%. You know, he played fantastic. You asked me, does the Evo meta, does the beatdown meta nerf him at all? If you asked me last month, I would say yes. But if you asked me today, I would say no. He played fantastically. This man is a huge fan of quick cycle decks and control decks. But he didn't play almost any of those today. He was full beatdown, lava, golem, bridge spam. You know, decks that's all about breaking through with huge pushes. And he just made it happen. He made it look easy. He made it look like he's been playing those decks for years.
Well, speaking of making it look easy, did it phenomenally this weekend. Now we have him ready, your final golden ticket winner of 2023. Vitor, first of all, out of everything, congratulations on not just qualifying for World Finals, but getting that golden ticket. Before we get into the nuts and bolts here, tell me a little bit about what you're feeling right now.
Well, I'm feeling, of course, it's good to lose, especially in a final, but I don't think anyone can be 100% focused when you just won a golden ticket, you know. But yeah, I'm really happy. I really needed this win for myself. I worked really hard these 2 weeks. It was a phenomenal month for me, and I really paid off like every single day. It was just amazing for me.
Talk to me about that a little bit, because you came into the weekend already qualified for World Finals, already guaranteed a spot. Of course, you had Mugi as your first round matchup, which is scary for anybody. But it sounds like the performance this weekend, your goal was less about caring about the specific matchup you got in round one and more about something internal, something about proving things to yourself. Is that right? And tell me a bit about that.
It's exactly that. Like, I needed this win, and I needed to prove I needed myself that if I work for this, I can get it. And I finally did. And I think I never practiced so hard in 2 weeks and this month. So it just myself that if I work hard, I get it. And yeah, I'm really happy for that and to know me.
This certainly felt like, we've talked this a lot on broadcast today, that this felt like the best version of Vitor we've ever seen. Would you agree with that? Is this, do you feel like you're at your peak in performance, and how do you plan to carry that on into World Finals?
That's hard to say because, of course, there are a lot of things that I need to improve on myself. On the first weekend, I was not completely focused. I think I was a little bit too confident. So I really need to calm down in these moments and just think to myself, it's another game. You play this all day. You practice this all day. So it's just another game, and I need to change my mind for that. And I think that's the hardest part for me. And when I get it, it will definitely be my peak. So I wouldn't say it's my prime yet.
Well, certainly some time to prepare for that one. And this is your 4th World Finals overall, 4 World Finals in a row. And that's a pretty significant accomplishment. It puts you in a fairly small group of people who've been that consistent. Where do you view yourself overall in the history of Clash Royale, and how does this World Finals, how is this going to affect you as you kind of view your overall career?
My career so far is really good. I started in Pain back to 2020, and I qualified to every Worlds yet, since 2020. But I haven't got really far in those competitions. You know, like I qualify, I win 1, 2, or 3, or best of 3 or games, and I want to prove to myself that I can go further. And well, for that I need to practice more and change my mentality.
Well, I know you have a lot of people rooting for you at home, and of course, viewers all over, big fans of yours. And I'm personally very excited to see you take another trip to World Finals and take a big one. So good luck, and we'll see you in November in Helsinki for your 4th World Finals. Everybody, if you're watching online, let's get some ones in the chat or something. I don't know, get some V's in the chat for Vitor to celebrate what's been a tremendous season on your behalf.
Thank you.
All right, so a great year for Vitor, and I think he really wanted that win against Mo at the end. But either way, seems like he has the right mentality, Juicy, as he's preparing for what's going to be a pretty stacked World Finals card.
Yeah, the thing that I loved most that he said that, no, I'm not at my peak. He said, I got to keep practicing. I have things to work on. I have to change my mentality. I love that. I love that mindset, because if you have that mindset, your potential, it's unlimited. He's going to become better and better and better. And I cannot wait to see what form he is at the World Finals.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our World Finalists, as all 16 have been confirmed. We have our 7 golden ticket winners: Mohamed Light, Pandora, Pedro, Mugi, Ardentoa, Samuel Basoto, and Vitor. Then you have our points winners: Faust, Morton, Sosa, Adriel, Ruben, Wallace, and sneaking in the very last match, Air Surfer. And then, of course, our 2 players joining us from the Chinese mainland competition: multiple-time Clash Royale League World Finals veteran Hire, and newcomer Not Afraid. And folks, we told you that Vitor winning a golden ticket would have massive implications on our matchups. Let's take a look at the locked-in brackets for World Finals. We have our round 1 matchup set. Air Surfer makes it into World Finals, but pulls the hardest first-round matchup in Mohamed Light. Of course, KK did beat Mohamed Light in the first round last year, so we'll see if Air Surfer can repeat history. Hire and Faust, our number 1 points winner, up against the top seed from the China mainland region. Round match number 3, Adriel, with Vitor moving up into the golden ticket places. Adriel then now moves up in points and finds himself against the 2022 world champion in Mugi, whereas Sosa drops down now to face against Arden Toas in his first round matchup. On the second half of our bracket, Wallace, because he got bumped up with Vitor moving rather than facing Mohamed Light in the first round, will face Pandora, a big matchup there. Vitor pulls our other Chinese mainland qualifier in the rookie Not Afraid. And then in match number 7, you have the declared biggest threat to Mohamed Light in Rookie of the Year, Pedro, up against the man who carried Team Queso to a 2020 Clash Royale League World Championship in Ruben. And the final match of our first round, Samuel Basoto, the man to unseat Mohamed Light, beat him not just once, but twice in our 6 monthly final, up against a guy who has been to every World Finals since 2019, making his 5th in a row, Morton, looking to see if he can finally grab World Finals glory here in 2023. What an insane lineup here. Josh, I'll start with you as you look at these matchups, and there are too many good ones. Which one are you most excited to see in the first round?
It's a tie between Mo Light and Air Surfer. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. I don't care that he's ranked 7 on the leaderboards. That's how he snuck into everything. Air Surfer had a great performance in the last World Finals, and you mentioned it. KK was able to beat Mo in the first round of the last World Finals. That could happen again. And the other one, I'm going to steal 2. It's going to be Basoto versus Morton. Are you kidding me? Round number 1 has so many high-stake games. And the final one of round 1, Basoto, what did he, 3rd? Morton 2nd? I mean, come on. That's going to be your round 1. Both of those matches I am so excited for.
That's going to be a great one. Juicy, I'll throw the same question to you. Looking at all those matchups, what are you most pumped about in round number 1?
I got to be most excited for Samuel Basoto versus Morton. Like Josh said, I mean, number 3 versus number 2. We saw the form that Samuel has been in last month, beating Mohamed Light not once, but twice last month. And Morton, one of the best players in all of Clash Royale history. He's been in the grand finals for the Clash Royale League almost every single year. He's a legend. I cannot wait to see who wins that.
And of course, that's a rematch of our upper bracket championship from 2022's World Finals. So a great one to kick things off for the 2 of those ones in that final. And of course, World Finals, we have a bit of a wait, but it is coming up November 24th through 26th in Helsinki, Finland. Clash Royale League World Finals 2023. And of course, you can attend. You can go to esports.clashroyale.com to find all your information about Clash Royale League World Finals in 2023. Come join us. It's going to be cold. Bring a jacket, but the action's going to be blazing hot as we have an unbelievably stacked World Finals lineup for you. And I know that these two guys are pretty excited about it. Andrew's pretty excited about it. We're all pretty pumped for what's going to be a phenomenal competition. Josh, we've been through a lot this year. We've seen a crazy dominance. We've seen some big players make big moves. Final thoughts as we wrap up the 2023 regular season.
Molite, not a fluke, just in case anybody thought that it was going to be that way. 5 monthly finals victories, last World Finals, second in the previous World Finals. He's getting better and better, and that is so intimidating for everybody. And I don't know, but Soto, he impressed me so much with his last month's performance. I think that is another player that Molite is going to have to be scared of. He is going to, I mean, his stage presence, he struggled with Fnatic the first season, and then as soon as he got that off of his shoulders, he was just ready. It was just season after season of incredible gameplay, and I expect to see that in the World Finals as well. Overall, it was an incredible ride. So many ups and downs for so many different players. Some players that we wanted to see in the World Finals, we won't see. Some players, no, we wanted to see every player that made it to the World Finals. So that's good on that part. Yeah, just a lot of great Clash Royale. And we got one more tournament to go.
One more very big tournament, Juicy. Final thoughts on the season, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. I know Mo's your favorite pick. Who's your dark horse pick for World Finals?
So first things first, final thoughts on the season. You know, we saw a lot of returning faces. We also saw a lot of new faces, a lot of new rookies. Ian77, InThrill, and a lot of others throughout the season have kind of poked their heads up and done a great job of kind of getting that practice and getting that experience in. Next year, I think we're going to be seeing some new faces at World Finals potentially. As for my hot seat dark horse pick, I got to go Samuel Basoto. After seeing him beat Mo last month, we haven't seen anything like that the entire year for the Clash Royale League. But even in any other tournament, Samuel, I think, is probably got to be my pick here. Josh, what's up?
Okay, I also want to say I loved the format this year. The fact that there's the golden ticket winners and you win a tournament, you get to go to Worlds. I think that is great. You absolutely deserve it if you are the best player that month. But also having it be off points as well. Consistency matters, and I think that's very important to just have that be a part of the Clash Royale ecosystem. I thought the format overall was brilliant.
It was a whole lot of fun, created some great moments, and will create for us a great World Finals. That's it for our regular season, folks. We're going to see you very soon, but on behalf of everybody here at Clash Royale League, Joshua, AC Sharon, Jackson, Juicy J Wall, our friend Andrew Guy, who will be at World Finals with us, and of course, everyone on the production team who's worked so hard to make a phenomenal 2023 Clash Royale season for you. I'm Rich Slayton. We'll see you next time at World Finals in Helsinki, Finland.
Wallbreaker's at the bridge, not going to be able to get there, needs the delivery on the left lane. Is he going to be able to get it in time? He does.
And GG, well played. Vitor.
13 seconds left. Are we going to finally see the RG, or is he going to BM a little bit and throw another Mother Witch on the field?
Skelly King in the back, Tombstone down. He just needs one more rage or one more arrows. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wallace with the reverse sweep. This defense is picture perfect from Vitor right now.
And again, the Knight just not letting splash damage get on that left-hand tower. That has been the ticket for Vitor. And this should be enough. GG, well played.
So the Bandit's not even going to get value because the Archer Queen is going to be able to pop the ability once again, log plus the drill.
And that should be it. Fireball in. It will just take a log. GG, well played.
Firecracker should be able to get a shot. This could be game right here. We just have to wait.
EQ just needs one more cycle.
It's going to be game.
He needs to take this tower right now.
It's going to be game.
Coming in. Vitor, massive celebration.
And Mo just continues to go heavy on the pressure. The Evo Barbs on the right-hand side. No elixir to stop the battle ram on the left-hand side. And Mohamed Light once more will be a monthly final champion. 5 of 7, and you can see this one again. It never gets old for him.